What if you could stand in the middle of life's storms and remain completely unshaken? Why do some people collapse under pressure while others shine brighter the harder life gets? And what if I told you that the secret to unbreakable peace has been waiting for you for over 2,000 years in the wisdom of the Stoics? Imagine this. Amidst the chaos of life, the heartbreaks, the setbacks, the noise of the world, you become a calm harbor, untouched by the turbulence around you. That is the true power of Stoicism. It's not about avoiding problems. It's about cultivating judgment, training your mind, and developing emotional invincibility so that nothing outside of you can steal your peace. This video, inspired by the 10 timeless principles of Stoicism, will guide you toward nurturing an unshakable inner state where your serenity remains intact, no matter what storms rage outside. Epictetus once said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." Think about that. You cannot control every outcome, whether people praise you or reject you, whether plans succeed or fall apart, but you can always control your thoughts, your perspective, and your response. That is where freedom lies. Stoicism teaches us that the essence of a good life is not the pursuit of fleeting pleasures or desires, but the pursuit of virtue. Hardships, when endured with courage, burn away weakness and reveal your truest strength. By living in harmony with the laws of the universe, you stop resisting reality and start flowing with it. And in that surrender, you discover peace. So I invite you to stay with me as we explore these 10 Stoic principles that will help you remain unaffected by life's storms. Don't miss a single one, for just one principle could become the spark that transforms your entire life. Let's begin with principle number 1, firm purpose. Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show a person's character, and the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests." This isn't just ancient wisdom, it's a call to action. Life's storms aren't here to destroy you, they are here to reveal you. When you have a firm sense of purpose, the chaos of the world shrinks. Mountains that once looked impossible suddenly become stepping stones. But purpose is not discovered by accident. It is forged in deep reflection, when you ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What values will I live by? What legacy will I leave behind? Once you answer these questions and anchor your life on that foundation, you become unshakable. A firm purpose is like a lighthouse in the night. It lights your path forward and anchors your soul when the storms of life try to drag you away. In the last principle, we discovered how a firm purpose can anchor the soul, keeping us steady no matter how fierce life's storms become. Now, let us move deeper into the Stoic path, into the realm of the mind, where true freedom is won or lost. That unwavering sense of purpose is like a buoy. It keeps you from sinking into the sea of emotions and overwhelming circumstances. Firm purposes are not just lofty advice, they are the key to unlocking unparalleled mental strength and the ability to face, endure, and ultimately overcome any challenge. This is the very essence of Stoic philosophy, not simply a list of rules for living, but living proof of the incredible power of will and determination. When viewed through this lens, nothing is impossible, and nothing can shake a spirit anchored in resilience. Principle number 2, guard your mind. Let me ask you something. Would you ever hand your body over to a total stranger, someone unfamiliar, untrustworthy, and perhaps even dangerous? Of course not. And yet, how often do we allow our minds to be hijacked by stray thoughts, poisonous opinions, and deceitful words? Each time we surrender to the influence of others' judgments, we are essentially giving them the keys to our peace and happiness. The Stoics remind us that true control begins not with our surroundings, but with our minds. Mind control is not simply a skill, it is an art of self-mastery. When someone insults you or offends you, the natural impulse is to feel wounded, to react, to lash out. But Stoicism teaches a higher way. Our emotions are born not from the words themselves, but from our thoughts about those words. That means we always hold the power to choose our response. Instead of allowing offense to overwhelm you, consider it a chance to practice patience, to sharpen self-awareness, to strengthen discipline. Every difficult word becomes an exercise in resilience. Start with small daily habits. Set modest goals and achieve them one by one. Each victory, no matter how small, builds confidence. Train your focus on the present moment. Take time to understand your emotions, to observe them without judgment. As this practice deepens, you will begin to see clearly. You are not a prisoner to what others say or think. You hold the authority to decide how you respond. Picture a baker at work. Day after day, they pour energy into kneading dough, perfecting recipes, refining their craft. They do not waste precious hours worrying about harsh critics or flattering praise. They do not allow the voices of others to control their hands or weigh down their spirit. And what happens? With patience and consistency, the baker not only becomes more skilled, but also discovers a profound sense of freedom. Their peace is no longer dependent on outside approval. This is the kind of liberation Stoicism offers. It is not an old theory locked in books. It is a living tool, a practical guide for every moment of modern life. To control the mind is to disarm the power of gossip, insult, or judgment. Because the truth is this: we cannot stop people from talking about us. We cannot silence every critic, but we can decide, will their words define us, or will our resilience and inner calm write the story of who we are? So take a breath. Step back, see clearly. When you master your mind, the chains of others' opinions fall away. You begin to experience a soul-deep freedom, a peace unshaken by the noise of the world. Now let us move forward to the next step on this journey. Principle number 3. Epictetus once said, "In the last principle, we explored how controlling the mind frees us from the weight of others' opinions." Now we step into an even deeper truth, one that Epictetus emphasized with clarity. The real power is not in silencing others, but in mastering our own response. Epictetus once said that we cannot control the opinions or the actions of other people. What we can control, however, is how we react to them. In today's modern world, this is a lesson more relevant than ever. Everyone carries their own set of perspectives, values, and priorities. Naturally, these will not always align with our expectations. Sometimes they may even clash with our deepest convictions. Think about it. How many times have you felt frustrated simply because someone disagreed with you? How often have you let another person's words pierce your peace of mind? Stoicism reminds us that this is wasted energy. Instead, much like the teaching of Christ, love your enemies, we are called to respond with patience, understanding, and even compassion, even when others oppose us. To live a life undisturbed by the judgments of others requires more than mere willpower. It requires a deep and honest understanding of ourselves. This means knowing why we act as we do, being clear about our motivations, and holding fast to the principles that guide us. When you have confidence in the path you have chosen, and clarity in the reasons behind your choices, then no insult, no slander, no criticism can truly shake you. Their words lose their power because you are anchored in something greater, your own convictions. But theory alone is not enough. To face insults and disagreements without letting them destroy our peace, we must practice patience and gentleness. Patience allows us to remain calm, to pause before reacting, and to resist the temptation of quick, angry responses. Gentleness, on the other hand, ensures that even when we are opposed, we do not burn bridges or poison relationships. Instead, we meet opposition with kindness, and in doing so, preserve both dignity and harmony. History offers us countless examples of this truth. Think of saints and ascetics who endured hostility, insults, even physical harm, yet chose to respond with serenity. They held fast to their chosen path, unmoved by the cruelty of others. Their patience was not weakness, but strength. Their gentleness was not passivity, but wisdom. When we follow this example, something profound happens. We begin to realize that the power to rise above negativity lies not in changing others, but in strengthening ourselves. By focusing on personal growth and resilience, we not only improve our own lives, but we become a source of light for those around us. Have you ever noticed how one calm person in the room can change the entire atmosphere? That is the influence of true inner strength. Remember, real power does not come from controlling what others think or say. That is a battle we can never win. True power comes from mastering how we allow those words to affect us. In that choice lies freedom. And so I invite you, reflect on your own journey. How have you handled the sting of criticism, the burden of judgmental words, or the pain of misunderstanding? What Stoic practices have helped you remain calm in the storm? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could be the very inspiration someone else needs to endure their own trials with strength and dignity. Now, as we move forward, we arrive at principle number 4, insult and offence. Epictetus spoke with a voice both firm and wise, teaching that what truly frightens or dismays us is never the external events themselves, but the way we think about them. The insult itself is not what wounds the soul. It is the meaning we attach to it, the way we perceive and respond, that determines its power. Imagine sitting in a meeting. You offer your opinion with confidence, only to have a colleague sharply dismiss or oppose it. The first reaction for many would be anger or embarrassment, but Stoicism invites us to pause, to breathe, to ask ourselves, is this not an opportunity? Can I not see this as a chance to consider the issue from a new perspective? In that pause, the sting softens and wisdom grows. Or picture a conversation with a close friend. In the midst of sharing, they suddenly criticize a personal decision you made. Your instinct may be to recoil, to feel hurt, or even to argue. But what if, instead, you reflected on their words with openness? Perhaps their delivery was clumsy, but their intention could have been sincere, an invitation for you to re-examine your choice. This, too, is Stoic strength. Finding light in the darkness, wisdom in the wound. Through this lesson, we discover that life will never spare us from offence or hurt, but what matters is not avoiding them, it is transforming them. Every insult becomes a stepping stone for growth. Every criticism becomes a mirror for self-reflection. Strength, according to Stoicism, is not born from living a life free of difficulty. It is forged in learning to embrace challenges, to transmute pain into progress, and to remain unshaken while the world rages around you. In the last lesson, we uncovered how insults and offences only have the power we choose to give them. Now we step into a territory that runs even deeper into the human soul, fear and shame. Epictetus, with timeless clarity, showed us that these emotions are not born from what happens outside of us, but from the meaning we attach to them within. Remember this, within every challenge lies an opportunity, not just to endure, but to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Life will always bring moments that plant fear in our hearts or cover us with the shadow of shame. But the real question is not whether these moments come. The question is, how will we face them? Will we allow them to define our self-worth, or will we rise above them? Epictetus delved into this very issue. He taught that at the root of fear and dishonor lies not the external event itself, but how we choose to respond to it. Consider this carefully. Fear and shame often drive us into choices we never wanted to make. How many times have people acted against their true desires simply to earn acceptance, applause, or a few fleeting likes on social media? How many of us have worn masks just to escape judgment? But here lies a profound truth. We are the ones who give meaning to events. It is our perception that transforms circumstances into prisons of fear or platforms of courage. Stoicism does not ask us to deny emotions, nor to pretend they don't exist. Instead, it invites us to embrace them with courage and self-control, to look fear and shame in the eye and say, "You do not rule me." When we do this, something remarkable happens. The chains that once bound us, the gaze of others, their words, their fleeting judgments begin to break. We rediscover ourselves. We reclaim the quiet strength hidden in every breath, in every choice, in every moment of daily life. Epictetus reminds us that true happiness is never found in the shifting sands of external approval. It lives within the soul of each person. The more we anchor our worth in things beyond our control, status, possessions, opinions, the more we invite fear and shame to enslave us. But when we center our lives on self-improvement, wisdom, and spiritual freedom, we discover a peace and strength the world cannot touch. Thus, fear and dishonor, in Stoic philosophy, are not just obstacles to endure. They are signposts, reminders to live a life of deeper meaning, where our worth is not dictated by others, but by the soul God has given us. And when we dare to face them, to overcome them, we not only liberate ourselves, but also become a source of courage for others. Principle 6, anticipating obstacles. Now let us move forward to principle number 6, anticipating obstacles. At its heart, this principle calls us to take a proactive stance, not a passive one. Instead of being surprised, shocked, or broken by life's inevitable difficulties, we prepare for them in advance. Epictetus encouraged us to envision possible hardships, not to become pessimistic, but to become unshakable. Think of it as a kind of mental training. Just as an athlete trains the body to endure strain, the Stoic trains the mind to endure adversity. Imagine a marathon runner preparing for a great race. She does not blindly hope for perfect weather, flawless health, or a trouble-free schedule. Instead, she anticipates the challenges, harsh weather, a possible injury, or even unexpected disruptions. Rather than fearing these possibilities, she equips herself for them. She builds strategies, strengthens her endurance, and ensures her mind is ready for whatever comes. This is the essence of Stoicism. Preparation is not fear, it is strength. By picturing obstacles before they arrive, we remove their power to surprise us. And when they do come, as they always will, we are already standing firm, calm, and ready. As we saw in the example of the marathon runner, adjusting her schedule, preparing for different weather, and even allowing space for recovery, anticipating obstacles transforms what could have been setbacks into stepping stones. On race day, when the skies open with rain, she does not panic. She runs steady, calm, and resilient because she had already prepared her mind for storms. This is the heart of Stoic wisdom. By anticipating obstacles, we create harmony between our emotions and our logic. Emotionally, it builds readiness and confidence. Logically, it strengthens our problem-solving skills, teaching us to think ahead, plan wisely, and act calmly. Together, this balance produces a serene heart and a clear mind in the midst of life's turbulence. Epictetus once said, "Don't consent to be hurt, and you won't be hurt. It is your choice." Here lies the doorway to freedom. True power is never in controlling events, but in controlling how we choose to respond. And when we embrace this perspective, we unlock a new way of living, one where even suffering becomes a teacher, and challenges become opportunities for liberation. Principle 7. No one can hurt you. Now, we step into another profound truth of Stoicism. No one can truly hurt you unless you give them permission. Imagine for a moment that you face severe criticism, not from a stranger, but from a close friend you deeply trust. The sting of betrayal cuts deep. Your initial reaction is pain, perhaps even anger. This response is natural. It reveals your humanity. But here's the key. Stoicism teaches that while the first feeling may arise uninvited, the lasting impact rests entirely within your control. So how do we apply this principle? First, the freedom to choose your response. Every word spoken against you is just sound until you give it power. You may feel hurt, but you are free to decide whether that wound lingers or fades. Choosing your response doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means acknowledging them, then rising above them with intention. Second, seeking inner strength. Confidence and peace are not found by avoiding hurt, but by knowing you can endure and overcome it. For the Stoics, strength is cultivated in the soul. For Christians, this strength is magnified by faith and prayer, turning to God as the unshakable source of peace. Third, the power of forgiveness. Just as Jesus forgave those who mocked and crucified him, we are also called to forgive those who wound us. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is strength. It releases us from carrying the heavy burden of bitterness, and it opens the path toward reconciliation, healing, and love. This principle is not a call to indifference or to pretend that hurtful actions do not matter. Instead, it is a call to freedom. It reminds us that although we cannot stop others from speaking or acting against us, we can always choose how those words and actions affect our hearts. And when we begin to live this way, not only in times of conflict, but in the quiet moments of daily life, we draw closer to true freedom and lasting peace. Stoicism teaches that real mastery is not found in controlling others, but in controlling ourselves. Epictetus urges us to select our actions carefully, based on reason, not impulsive emotion. Imagine this. You're in an important meeting, presenting your ideas with conviction. Suddenly a colleague strongly opposes you, even criticizing you personally. Your first instinct may be anger, disappointment, or even the urge to strike back with sharp words. But this is the very moment Epictetus invites us to practice restraint. Instead of letting emotions erupt, you take a deep breath. You remind yourself, anger will not solve the problem, nor will retaliation bring peace. So you listen rationally, weigh their words objectively, and then choose to respond with respect. By doing so, you open the door for dialogue instead of conflict. Exercising restraint in action and speech is not weakness, it is wisdom. In a culture where quick reactions are often mistaken for strength, Stoicism reminds us that true strength is the ability to govern yourself in every situation. So how can we live out this principle daily? 1. Recognize emotions. When anger, frustration, or pride rises, acknowledge them honestly without rushing to act. 2. Pause before reacting. Give yourself a moment. Sometimes even a breath of silence is enough to shift your perspective. 3. Ask yourself questions. Is this action based on reason? Will my response bring growth or harm? 4. Act mindfully. Choose the path that reflects wisdom, maturity, and a deep understanding of the situation. When you practice self-restraint, you avoid unnecessary consequences, preserve peace, and demonstrate wisdom in front of others. More importantly, you strengthen the core of who you are, calm, steadfast, and resilient amidst life's storms. So let me ask you, are you ready to restrain your actions, to master yourself, and to become the best version of who you were meant to be? If so, write in the comments, I'm ready. Principle number 9, the power of acceptance. Now let's move to another timeless Stoic teaching, acceptance. Picture yourself on a long journey. Suddenly you realize you've lost your way. Frustration rises, anxiety creeps in, maybe even anger. But Epictetus would remind you, no amount of worry will change your reality. The question is not why am I lost, but what will I do now that I am lost? This is the power of acceptance. By calmly acknowledging the situation, without denial or panic, you gain the clarity to find solutions. You may check your map, ask for directions, or turn on your GPS. Acceptance does not mean surrendering. It means facing reality as it is, then choosing your response with wisdom. Here are 5 ways to practice the power of acceptance. 1. Recognize and accept emotions. Acknowledge your anger, sadness, or fear without letting them rule your decisions. 2. Understand the root of the problem. Distinguish between what can be changed and what cannot. 3. Redirect your energy. Instead of wasting strength on what's beyond your control, focus on the actions you can take. 4. See acceptance as the beginning. It is not giving up, it is the starting point of meaningful action. 5. Seek lessons in every challenge. Every difficulty carries wisdom if we are humble enough to learn from it. When you embrace acceptance, you transform obstacles into opportunities. You stop fighting against reality and start flowing with it, turning setbacks into stepping stones for growth. Principle number 9, continued, the power of acceptance. Acceptance does more than calm our emotions, it transforms our perspective. By practicing acceptance, we don't just face challenges, we grow through them. One way to do this is to use every hardship as a tool for self-development. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Another key is gratitude. No matter the circumstance, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude brings light into darkness. It shifts our focus from what is lacking to what is present, from despair to hope. As Epictetus reminds us, life itself, with all its limitations, is still a gift to be cherished. By applying acceptance, you don't just endure life, you discover peace and happiness even in ordinary days. You begin to see life not as something happening to you, but something happening for you, shaping you into a stronger, wiser soul. Principle number 10, living according to nature. Epictetus believed that the essence of a meaningful and happy life lies in one powerful truth: live in harmony with nature. And by nature he meant not only the world around us, but the inner nature, the true essence, within each of us. Living according to nature means recognizing our rightful place in the world, understanding that every event has a reason, and accepting that life unfolds with divine order. When storms come, we don't resist them with bitterness. We embrace them as part of the natural flow of existence. But let's be clear, acceptance is not surrender, it is not indifference. It is choosing peace within the boundaries set by nature, while seeking meaning in how we live. Stoic happiness is not found in material possessions or fleeting pleasures. True joy comes from simplicity, from clarity of mind, from being content with what is, while striving to grow into who we were meant to be. To live this way is to walk in freedom, free from the ups and downs that enslave so many. It is to be anchored, unshaken, resilient, and at peace. Conclusion. The journey of the 10 principles together, we have walked through 10 timeless Stoic principles, each a lantern lighting the path through life's storms. From anticipating obstacles to acceptance to living in harmony with nature, Epictetus has shown us a way of life that builds resilience, wisdom, and inner strength. But remember, this journey is not meant to be walked alone. Growth happens in community. So I invite you, share your challenges and victories in the comments. Ask your questions and engage with others. Inspire and be inspired. Your story might be the very encouragement someone else needs today. And don't forget, like this video, share it with a friend who could use these principles, and subscribe to the Stoic Art of Living so you won't miss the next step of our journey. Every day, every choice, every step forward is an act of self-improvement. Together, we are becoming stronger, steadier, and more at peace. So let us continue side by side in this pursuit of wisdom and resilience. The journey doesn't end here. It begins anew today.